The Rugby World Cup draw for 2027 has just been announced. There are some huge matches taking place in the pool stages and also, hopefully, a massive World Cup opener involving two trans-Tasman rivals. But in this video, we'll be looking through at the groups, who could match up in the quarterfinals as well, and also some of the great matchups that will be taking place in the pool stages. But jumping straight into it, the way that it was drawn was, first of all, they went through the band 4 sides, which were the lowest ranking qualifiers in the competition. They put one in each group, and in the first group, Pool A, that is where we did see Hong Kong, China. The team from band 3 was Chile. We knew that Australia were going to be in the first group of the Rugby World Cup due to being the host nation, but because they were ranked 7th in the rankings, it meant that they were not first qualifier and instead came in as the second side. And then the last team that was announced across the whole draw, New Zealand. They were the only side remaining, which does now mean we get to see New Zealand versus Australia more than likely be the opening match of the Rugby World Cup. That last World Cup we saw France versus New Zealand, a huge game to kick off the whole comp, and that game in the end won by the French, but New Zealand find themselves again playing in an opening contest of a World Cup competition, this time up against the hosts in Australia. But we will move on from that group just for now. Pool B consists of the world champions South Africa, Italy, a side that they just recently played in the November internationals. They actually also versed them twice in July, Georgia, and then the Romanians. So it was an all-European group up until South Africa got added into the mix, but because there are 24 sides, does mean there isn't really a pool of death out of any of these groupings. It is more so who you play in the quarterfinals and that round of 16 that will determine how far some of these sides go. For Pool C, it is Argentina, Fiji, Spain, and also Canada. So honestly, I'm pretty excited about that group. The Pumas always playing with passion, Fijians with that physicality, and then Spain and Canada, two sides that were ranked a little bit lower, but the Spanish, they are growing nicely in the world of rugby. Canada, actually the 24th ranked side going into this draw, but maybe they can cause an upset in the World Cup group stage. For Pool D, it is Ireland and Scotland, so they find themselves going head-to-head in a World Cup group stage yet again, alongside Uruguay and Portugal. Then Pool E is France, Japan, USA, and Samoa. I actually think out of all of the groups, that is one that I'm most excited for. France, you would think, will qualify as number 1, but in terms of Japan, USA, and Samoa, all of those sides could be wide open for who gets that second ranking spot. And then alongside that also, we've got to remember in these groups, the 4 best third place teams also qualify for the round of 16. So I wouldn't be surprised if Pool E is one of the groups that we see 3 teams going through to the next stage of the comp. And then last but not least, Pool F, it is England, Wales, Tonga, and also Zimbabwe have qualified for this World Cup ahead of someone like Namibia. It is a huge opportunity for Zimbabwe to show what they can do. They are in a group with Tonga, so physicality flat out for both of those sides. And then the Welsh, where are they going to be in 2027? And then also in that group, there is the English, who are looking very well set for the next World Cup. But I did some investigation on the live stream where we were reacting to this World Cup draw, and the chat also pointed this out to me as well. New Zealand and South Africa will more than likely meet in the quarterfinals of this Rugby World Cup. If both teams qualify first in their groups, they will not meet in the round of 16, but the next round, quarterfinals, we could see the World Cup finalists from 2023 play each other that early. So that was quite an intriguing one, and as the draw kept on going, that was of course going through a lot of people's heads. Now I will mention, if either side were to lose a game in the group stage and actually qualify as second, it doesn't get much easier because more than likely they would play the English in the quarterfinals. So either way, New Zealand and South Africa probably have some very tough matches ahead of them for the quarters. And in the case of New Zealand and South Africa, whoever wins that quarterfinal, it probably will actually get easier for them in their semi heading towards the final. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But of course, there are already a few people who are a little bit upset about the way that this draw has gone. There are people calling it rigged. It worked out almost a little bit too well, I have to say. I was talking about it all throughout the last about 3 or 4 weeks, that New Zealand versus Australia would be an epic opening contest of the Rugby World Cup and the Rugby League World Cup taking place in 2026. That is actually the opening contest that we are seeing in that as well. Now, that one's also taking place in Australia. So, coincidence or a bit of a conspiracy, we will let the rugby world decide about that one there. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Of course, we are going to be covering the World Cup on the channel. As we get a little bit closer, we will also get the fixtures announced for these sides in terms of who is playing when. But it is only less than 2 years away till the next World Cup. I am thoroughly excited and I hope you guys are too. But of course, do let me know in the comments which group is your favorite out of the 6 announced. Here they all are on the screen at the moment. But I do thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.